Hey Brickmaniacs, welcome back to another Vault preview video. We're taking a look at our May collection here. If this is your first time tuning in recently, the Vault has totally changed. It is now an auction-based system. Auctions go live the first Thursday of every month and end the first Sunday of every month at 12 o'clock noon. The normal Thursday drop does hit at 8 a.m. just like normal. The cool thing though is because they're auction listed items on the website, you can actually see what is part of the collection usually about a day before. So if you go right now to the auction products section of brickmania.com, you can start to scroll through and see what is going to go live come Thursday morning. And then on Sunday is when everything will wrap up. So right around that 11:45 mark, if you've got something that's been highly contested that you're ready to jump on, make sure to keep an eye on that as those auctions will wrap up then. And then obviously the process from there is just involved getting a link sent to you. You can complete your order process. It'll be added to your cart, all that kind of fun stuff. And then as soon as you've completed the order process, that's when customer service will get everything loaded up and shipped out to you. Other than that, it works pretty much exactly the same. We still try to include everything we can get our hands on display model wise, whether that's various store cards or price cards, feature sheets, all that kind of stuff. That anything we can get our hands on, including extra sticker packs, what have you, we will include. Obviously, all of them include the display model itself and instructions because while they are shipped together, they don't always arrive together because that's just kind of how it works.
That's the way the post office
Exactly. So especially with some of these bigger kits. So that is the new rundown of the Vault. If you're confused on any of this information, all of it is posted on each one of the auction items product pages. So if you have one that you've got your eye on, click on that item, go ahead and read the description. You should be able to understand kind of the rundown of how all of that works. Cool for May. We have over 50 new items hitting the auction tray, whatever you want to say.
The auction block.
The auction block,
auction
exactly.
block.
This month as well. So there's plenty to choose from. As you can see just from the little sample that Dan and I have in front of us, covers a variety of eras, some of which are make-believe. So there's a whole bunch of cool stuff going into this month's Vault. So make sure to check that out. Take your time scrolling through it. The nice thing is too, you actually have some time to be able to sit and look at all these entries because I know that with the previous formation, it was like, sometimes by 8:01, all the hot items would be gone. Now you've got a little bit of time to sit there and look at them and make your priority list.
Or they'd be gone before they even populated in your...
Right, exactly. Before you could even finish your checkout.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now that's taken away. It's a much more competitive aspect, but does give you that time to be able to pick that kind of stuff up. So like I said, all that information lives on the site.
And those are Central Time, right? Central
Correct.
Time.
All times are our time, Central Time, Chicago time, what have you. So yeah, they'll be able to do that. And that's always listed on those pages as well. So all the information should be there. As always though, just like we did with the last video, if you've got any questions, I'll keep an eye on the comment section for this and do my best to reply. So let me know if there's anything that you're still confused on, especially if this is your first time entering the new Vault, so to speak. So, but yeah, like I said, whole variety of eras that we've got going on here. Some real Brickmania classics. Space Race, Vietnam, World War I, World War II, obviously. Randoverse, that was the Doomsayer brew pub. That actually kicked off the Randoverse turning into actual sets, which was kind of cool. The printing on this is absolutely insane. I know when it first came out, a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, that graffiti is like one of the sweetest things I've seen.
Oh, absolutely.
These busted windows.
The printed windows, yeah. And there's people who bought two of them and mashed them together.
They do work pretty well.
Bigger brew pubs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then obviously if you've got the other ones, they are modular sets, so they stack up to like a tower or whatever, which is cool to see because all of the artwork kind of works together. And then when Mary did Mary's Mop Chop, she even made a little like drop-down ladder that you can have your randos crawling up in case they're shuffling up there after having a beer to get their hair cut.
There's 3 in the series, so make sure you get all 3.
Yes, yeah, because they all look awesome together. Otherwise, we've got some cool stuff here that hasn't been around, like even the Trebuchet here. This was a pretty limited release.
I think only 50 of that.
Yeah, Mary Wilson back in the day. It is fully functional. I'm not going to try to do it right now, but if you go check out the designer studio on it or the sit rep where it was featured, she does launch that little rock pretty much across the design room, which is cool to see. CH53, that's another one that's like, man, when was that even?
Years ago. I mean, it's before we were 3D printing our own helmets. I mean, it's so primitive. The figures are so primitive by today's standards. It's cool to see this. The model has stickers on it, and we do have an extra sticker sheet. But yeah, this is a Cody Ocell model. This was done back in the day. Back in the day, a few years before this. So, there's some old stuff. These are both Cody models, the Focke-Wulf and the CH53. A couple of Mary Wilson models, actually several Mary Wilson models. Another Cody.
The JU52.
Yeah, and you're not even seeing the stuff that's off screen.
Right.
Whatever we have here, this is just like 10, well, maybe 20% of the total.
Yeah, tough to say. I mean, literally over 50 new items are going to be listed.
Even camera guy worked on this one.
Yeah, right. This is the Gemini capsule, which I love. This Mr. Balls of Steel is like, yeah, you know what I'm going to do is go into space and actually get out of the vessel that I went into space with. So
yeah, open the door and walk
That's
outside.
awesome. I love the back of this too, the way they did the
foil.
Exactly. That just, it works so perfectly for everything that's going on there. And then obviously the printing is pretty impressive itself with that capsule and everything in the front, and then works nice with the stand. My favorite probably on the table though has got to be the Swift boat, just because this thing is like a literal play set, which is just absolutely awesome. Comes with a super epic
seven
crew.
figures. We don't have the figures on the table. There are 7 unique figures. You know, we had a custom brick arms made just for this kit. So
the Stoner 63.
Yeah, the Stoner rifle. The only reason that exists is because we begged and begged and begged. And you can still buy the Stoner rifle on the site, but at brickmania.com. But obviously you can't get the Swift boat anymore.
Right.
The Swift boat's long gone. And if you were ever wondering, this is actually John Kerry's Swift boat. So.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So that was, he's a famous Swift boat captain, and this actually 94 is his boat. So
Interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah, so we didn't really hype it up when we made the set, but that was the way it was.
That's cool to know. Yeah, there's an awesome crew that comes with this, and then you can open up this whole top here and get inside, and it's got some detail.
Oh, it's fully detailed. Yeah, the interior, except for the back hull back here, there's no engines in there. So but the cabin and the main cabin, the bridge, it's all fully detailed.
Yeah. So if you keep it as a waterline model, like I said, it's an awesome play set. Comes with all the figures you need to kind of reenact whatever scene. However, if you do want to choose to build the actual lower hull and the stand itself, the instructions do include the ability to do that. You just got to grab your own bricks.
Yep. Everything you need to do that is in the instruction book, even including the parts list. So.
Yep. We got some other ones here that saw some significant batches back in the day, but haven't been around since then. So this is the Ambush SDKFZ, which
It's a 251, and it comes with that. It's a armored infantry, or what is it? Panzer Grenadier captain. So I think it's the only time we released the officer. You can only get it with this kit. So that's, it's significant. It's the half track we've done millions of times. I mean, this is like iteration number 5. First time with fully printed though.
Yeah,
and,
that was pretty cool.
And
the viewports.
Yeah, all the viewports. In the previous ones, we've never. I'm kind of like really conservative usually when it comes to stickers. It's either all or nothing. Our stickers or printing. I try to just brick build everything. And it's been really hard to transition to this new age of, hey, we have the ability to print things.
Yep.
Well, I use my imagination and brick build it. But that's just me. I'm old school. But yeah, that's a great figure.
Yeah, cool transition model, kind of as that printing era started to take flight.
Right.
This was kind of one of those models that was in between times there, but
And that's
still
sort of
fully printed.
the pinnacle of that particular build of half track. We do it again, it's going to be a completely different build. I'm sure.
Yeah, we've already seen kind of some different iterations of that coming out, which that's one of the things of the Vault that a lot of people have said. People new to Brickmania, people who are just kind of getting into what they actually want to collect, because all of us know it's kind of tough to just collect all of Brickmania. Usually people kind of find their lanes and then they wait for their stuff to come out. So if you're ever looking to backfill those collections, if half tracks are your thing and that's what you're going for, this is exactly the time that you can jump in there and try to get some of those kits that aren't going to be around anywhere else. And some of them you can't even necessarily find on eBay, and if you do, you're kind of at the risk of paying some exorbitant prices when it comes to that. So the nice thing about this, and I suppose I skipped this in the intro, but the reserve for all of these is listed on each item. It's actually 25%, 3/4 of the original MSRP. So depending on how popularly bid on your model is, there's a potential you could actually get it for less than MSRP, which, as we know, with the previous Vault system was not an option.
Right.
So there is some opportunities there to get some savings.
And these are store displayed models. So
Exactly.
You're going to get some dust on them. So if you do get it below MSRP, it's actually not a bad thing. 'Cause,
Sure.
You may be getting or you are going to get a model that was store displayed. They do keep them under glass and glass display cases, but they were previously built, and they do have fingerprints and
Exactly.
dust. They've been loved a little bit.
It's not something where you're going to get the box and then want to put it back into the box and then just keep it. You know what I mean? Set up in the corner with your other unbuilt stuff. These are definitely ones that you're going to want to kind of piece back together and then put on display. So like I was saying, we had a couple of these here that have gone through a couple of phases. This is the Mark V. This is a super, super solid build, and one that I think was pretty popular for its time. I know we've gone through, like I said, a couple variations of it, but you hear every once in a while people clamoring to have it come back, but usually not at enough force to warrant like either a complete redesign, new batch, etc. Something we might touch on in the future for an anniversary or whatever.
There will be more in the future, but it's, there's nothing on the schedule. I can't say like, hey, this year we're going to bring back World War I, because it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. And especially stuff that we've trotted, ground that we've trod on a lot. We'd like to put out some new stuff that we haven't done before or barely touched on.
Yeah, but if you've built the one from the instructions book, this one is significantly different than that. So you could do a little side by side
that one
there.
from the instruction book, that's ancient.
Yes, exactly. It's a much different situation.
That's several iterations of this model ago.
Yeah, and then obviously, like we said, some unique ones here. We don't do battleships very often, especially in this kind of scale. There's something that we usually do as displays, like the Missouri or whatever. So to have these, pretty unique kit, very, very limited release. Obviously the Arizona, a pretty iconic ship.
Lots of printing. This is all printed. There's no stickers on this. So all these little portholes in the water, the edges of the water line, it's kind of nuts.
Does come with a figure too, I just don't have it with me.
Yeah, the captain of the Arizona comes with the ship.
Yeah, look at that, those portholes alone, holy smokes.
That's a lot. Well, and these are printed, all the water line, all of this is all printed, the anchors, everything. So it was a fun model. That I didn't make this. I was the
project manager.
I was the project manager, so I got to play with it. I got to help it through the process from idea to
concept
release.
to creation. Yeah, right.
So I did, but I can't take credit for it. It was just it was a fun model to take part with. I pushed. We've done some unique things. This has this printed bars on here. It was the first time we've. It looks like two different colors of flex tubing put together, but it's actually one color.
With just a printer on there. Wow, I didn't even notice that. That's crazy. You got to look closer at these things.
Lots of small details.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Battleship. We don't. You're right. We don't do very often. We don't do the ships very often. When we do, they're usually once they're done, and they never come back. So.
Well, and a good example, if you're a shipbuilder that just kind of figured out, discovered Brickmania or has one of the other builds that we've done and, missed out on this, they're very limited opportunities to be able to get your hands on them. So that's exactly why we do this, so that, people kind of get one last crack at it all. So, but like I said, tons of variety, lots of kits hitting the web come tomorrow. Right now, I still have more to finish up, so there's going to be more populating, but right now you can go check out at least a decent sample size of kind of the new stuff that is going to be available for these auctions. So you can head to the site, get your eyes on what you want, maybe make your list of the things you're actually going to keep track of throughout the weekend. And then, like I said, all of that will kick off at 8 a.m. tomorrow when those auctions officially go live, and then they'll wrap up Sunday, 12 noon Central Time. So there you have it. All right. That's the May Vault collection. As always, thank you very much for watching.